Here we are on page 4 of the trig ratios packet, and we want to solve for x. And to do that, we're going to need to identify the sides of the triangle that we're given and then choose SOHCAHTOA in order to do the problem. So in problem number 4, we're given our angle, our theta, which is 28, and we know that across from theta is our opposite side, okay? Now, the hypotenuse of this triangle is also given because we have a number next to it, and it's across from the right angle. So which trig function out of SOHCAHTOA relates a opposite side and a hypotenuse? So what one has the O and the H together? And that would be the SO. So we have sine of our angle, theta, equals our opposite over our hypotenuse. And we can fill in what we have. Well, the sine stays there. We have theta is 28 equals the opposite side is x over the hypotenuse, which is 19. Now we have to get x by itself. And to do that, we have to get rid of the 19. So since I'm being divided by 19, I'm going to multiply it by 19. So x equals 19 sine 28. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the calculator. I have Desmos pulled up here. So make sure the calculator's in degrees. So this is radians. If you click it again, you get degrees. And we're going to put in 19 sine 28. And my answer is 8.91995. And it said round to the nearest tenth, so in this case it's going to be 8.9. I like to say 8.91. I like to round to the nearest hundredth. Now over here on question number 5, we have our angle, we have our theta, which is 41. Now across from 41, that's our opposite side. In this case, we are not given the hypotenuse. There is no number across from the right angle, so there's no hypotenuse. Instead, we are given the adjacent side, the side next to our angle. So if I have SOHCAHTOA, which one of them, the SO, the CA, or the TOA, relates the opposite side, the O and the A? Well, that would be the TOA. So I have tangent of theta equals the O over the A, and we just fill it all in. The angle was 41. The opposite side is x, and the adjacent side is 32. Now I want x by itself, so multiply by 32 on both sides. And we're going to put this in the calculator. 32 tangent 41. And we get 27.81. And that's your answer. We're going to keep going through these. For number 6, we have our theta is 21. We don't have the opposite side. We don't have the side across from the theta. Instead, we have the side across from the right angle. That's our hypotenuse. And we have the side that is next to our angle, which is our adjacent. Remember, adjacent means next to. So is this going to be SO, CA, or TOA? Which one relates the adjacent side, which is x, to the hypotenuse, which is 26? That means I'm looking for A and H. So it's going to be the K. So cosine of theta equals A over H. And you just fill everything in. Cosine of 21, because that's our angle, equals the adjacent, which is X, over 26. To get rid of the 26, you multiply it on both sides. So you get X equals 26 cosine 21. Put that in your calculator. You get 24.27. Now for number 7, we have our angle, 55. The side across from our angle is the opposite. We do not have the side across from the right angle, which is the hypotenuse, but we do have the adjacent. So which one relates opposite and adjacent? That's the TOA. So it's going to be tangent of our angle equals the opposite over the adjacent. Once again, you multiply by 8 to get the x by itself. So in the calculator, put in 8 tangent 55. That's 11.42. Now number 8 is a little bit different than the rest. We still have our theta, we still have 15 as our opposite side, and across from the right angle is our hypotenuse. So for SOHCAHTOA, which one relates the opposite and the hypotenuse? It's sine. So we have sine of 33 equals the opposite, which is 15, over the hypotenuse, which is x. So this is where it gets weird, because we can't no longer get x by itself by multiplying by x, because that just puts it on the other side. So we multiplied by x, now we have x sine 33 equals 15, but I still want x by itself. So I need to divide by the sine of 33. So what essentially happens is the x and the sine of 33, these switch places. Okay, so in the calculator, I'm going to do 15 divided by the sine of 33. And we get 27.54. So that one was a little bit weird because we had to do 2 steps to find out what x was. Let's do it again here. We have theta is 43. We have the hypotenuse across from the right angle. And we have the adjacent, which is next to the angle. So which one relates the adjacent and hypotenuse? The A and the H go with the K. So we have cosine theta equals A over H. Cosine 43 equals 36 over, we don't know what the hypotenuse is. So this is another one of those 2-step problems where we multiply by the denominator, multiply by x on both sides, and then we have to finish getting the x by itself, so we divide by cosine of 43. So in the calculator, you're going to put 36 cosine 43. 36 divided by, divided by cosine of, I think it was 43, 49.22. So once again, we have our angle is theta. We have the side across from theta as our opposite. And the side next to theta is adjacent. So which one relates the opposite and adjacent? Well, that's the TOA. So we get tangent of 72 equals 25 over x. Multiply by x. And then divide it by the tangent of 72. Put that right in the Desmos calculator. 25 divided by tangent 72. .12. Why don't you guys try number 11 on your own? And lastly, we just have to get through these word problems. This is the same thing that we are doing on page 2, where you kind of just have to draw a little bit of a picture, okay? We have Jake leaned a 12-foot ladder against his house, so we have a house. And we have a 12-foot ladder. And the angle, if the angle formed by the ladder and the ground is 68 degrees, so we have the ground here and the angle between the ladder and the ground is 68. How far from the base of the house, how far is the ladder from the base of the house? So that's x. So we have our theta is 68, our hypotenuse is 12, and this would be our adjacent side. So, coming from SOHCAHTOA, what relates the hypotenuse and the adjacent? Well, that's cosine. So it's cosine of 68 equals x over 12. You would multiply by 12 on both sides. And you get 4.49. feet. It's about 4.5 feet from the base of the house. And in this case, we have a ramp. So a ramp is used to load suitcases on an airplane. So we have the cargo door. The door to the plane is 7 feet from the ground. And the angle formed by the end of the ramp and the ground is 25 degrees. So here would be the end of the ramp and the ground is 25. How long is the ramp? All right, so we have an angle, which is theta. We have our right triangle is being made here, so x is the hypotenuse. And across from my angle, the 7 feet is my opposite. So what relates opposite and hypotenuse? Well, that's the sine of the angle is 7 over x. And we're going to want to multiply by x on both sides. And then divide by the sine of 25. So what is 7 divided by the sine of 25? We have 16.56. So about 16.5 feet is the length of the ramp.